We live in a world that is obsessed with output. More content, more growth, more hustle, more. But the truth is that creativity does not work on a productivity schedule. If you're constantly trying to squeeze more out of yourself, you might be suppressing the creativity and not letting it truly flourish. Hi, I'm Tom Sargent. I started my career as an engineer and moved into marketing, and now I help creatives build careers without sacrificing their soul. And this video is for anybody that wants to turn their passion into performance and find the joy in the process along the way. Productivity culture teaches us to measure everything, measure the views, measure the likes, measure the subscribers, the followers, output. But creativity doesn't work and doesn't thrive under a stopwatch. Some of the biggest and greatest artists throughout history have taken years to make their creative work come to life. Taken years to paint the painting, to perfect the recipe, to write the book. And when you think about it like that, and you think about those creatives throughout history, you can't imagine like Van Gogh being like, I must produce a painting every day, or Steve Jobs being like, I need more subscribers, I need more likes, more engagement, blah, blah, blah. The obsession with speed that we have in today's society, in today's culture, it's just turning creativity into a to-do list, a checkbox, a post every day challenge, rather than a form of expression and excitement and good ideas, like good creative ideas. And that's why so many people burn out, because they're trying to hold themselves accountable to someone else's schedule and someone else's recommended calendar or content calendar. And that whole system just isn't designed for creative energy and creativity. It's designed for production. It's designed to produce, which is fine if that's what you want to do. If you want to make content, for example, just like everybody else, that looks the same, sounds the same, and it's just the same ideas over and over, that's fine. That can be a career. That's what some of the biggest content creators in the world do. They review products or they talk about specific topics, trending topics and things. That's their career. But they've kind of adopted the name creator, but really they should be content producers, not content creators, unless they are being actively creative. You know, there's some incredible short film creators on YouTube that are producing works of art and, doing really incredible things. People creating incredible music videos or creating inspirational vlogs about their travel life and stuff. That is creativity. Just churning out stuff is being a content producer. And I think that's a key difference that people need to think about when they start being creative and start exploring creative ideas. Productivity is about repetition, efficiency, repeatable, controlled outcomes. And creativity is about messiness, getting things wrong, exploring, intuition, fostering a connection to both the art form that you're doing and creating and the people that you're showing that to. It is the rawest form of expression. And if you try and optimize creativity like a factory and remove the imperfections and the weirdness and the spark, you're just like diluting the creativity and you're turning into a manufacturing sort of system. But we do need both in the world, and as a creative you need to recognize that there is a sort of process and a transformation that undergoes at some point where the messiness and the creative aspect does get refined and fine-tuned and turns into more of a product. That can happen and that will happen, especially if you're trying to make it into your career. But it's really about finding that balance and finding that way to remain raw and creative and produce stuff. One of the best YouTubers that does this, in my opinion, is Casey Neistat. He is able to portray this just sense of creative mess and energy and enjoyment, passion, but also is a content producer. He's found his balance really well. He sits very nicely in that. And I think that's why so many people try and be like him and try and reproduce the way that he does things. So I want to talk a bit about how do you find that balance between creativity and productivity? And I'm still finding this out for myself. I'm still on this journey of discovering this, but some of the things that I've uncovered over the last few months and, well, over the decade of my career as a marketer is that you need to create space for creativity to happen. You do need a schedule and a routine, but it needs to be like a gentle schedule, a gentle routine. It's more like going for a countryside walk than it is being part of a marathon. You can't over plan it and you can't always predict what's going to happen, and you need to make space for that unpredictability to flourish. Whereas if you're running a marathon, you need to practice, do the same thing over and over again, get in race mode, hit each mile as you're going along. So that's sort of a good analogy between the two methods. You need to create space and a gentle routine. But yeah, another thing that you need to do is you need to protect your time allocated to consumption and input. I've talked about this in other videos, but one of the best ways you can come up with new ideas and really fuel your creativity is to absorb new forms of media, new forms of music, cultural aspects from places that you don't normally go. You need to go out into uncharted water for yourself and take inspiration from these different places. And then when you bring them back, you'll find that you've picked up inspiration and you can start applying that to whatever it is that you're creating. And those influences come through. And the only way you're going to be able to get those influences is if you dedicate and allow yourself time to not be producing output, but to be consuming input and influence, and let yourself be influenced and not close-minded. Yeah. Another thing that I often try to encourage myself to do and people I work with to really allow the creativity to flourish is to step back from the metrics, and instead, something I've started doing quite recently is, instead of looking at the metrics and the number of views and subscribers and stuff like that, is look at the reflections of yourself. How much better was that video than the last one? How much did I enjoy making it? What didn't I enjoy and that I might want to do less of? Am I getting more comfortable speaking on camera? Am I getting more comfortable with this style of doing something or this new medium and new material? Looking at that and looking at how far you've improved is far more valuable for your creativity than looking at the metrics, because as soon as you start looking at the metrics and the clean numbers, you start moving from creativity into productivity and that sort of manufactured way of doing things. So there is a place for metrics. I just think they don't come at this ideation and this messy stage of creativity at the beginning. So I think using reflection instead of metrics is a very powerful thing as well. And whilst we're talking about sort of systems and processes, you need to learn to like the process that you go through to create something. You can't get too attached to enjoying the outcome and the delivered item. You need to, if you're a potter, you need to enjoy the act of making pottery, getting the clay on the wheel, getting your hands dirty, and you need to enjoy that much, much more than just having loads of plates or bowls that are ready to go in the kiln or ready to go on the shelves and be sold. You need to enjoy the process. That goes for all creative art forms. Whether you're doing video editing, you need to enjoy okay, what if we do it like this? What if we film it in a different location? Like, what can we do that's creative? Rather than just liking the uploaded YouTube video. That can't be where the passion lies. Otherwise, you'll burn yourself out and you won't enjoy doing it anymore, and it'll very quickly become like a chore and a job rather than a form of expression. So those are some of the ways that I've been exploring of how you can manage this balance between creativity and productivity. I guess the key message is that you don't have to hustle and produce for your creative act to matter. The most important thing is you enjoy it, you let it have space to explore itself and grow and thrive before you put it into mass production and you just start churning it out. But you also need to be aware that that might come along down the road. And yeah, the ways you can do that is just slow down, absorb more, take in more inspiration, reflect on how well you've been doing and how much you've improved, and just learn to enjoy the process, I guess. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Has anybody out there experienced finding that balance, and what was it that really worked for them? Or is there anybody out there that's on the wrong side of that line now? Are they in productivity and they want to be in creativity, or are they stuck just going round and round in circles being creative but not learning how to turn it into productivity? Because that does happen. Yeah, let me know in the comments. If you like learning more about creativity and productivity and expression and turning ideas into reality, please subscribe. Go and watch my other videos, because this channel might be for you and it might be your way of finding inspiration to keep creating. So go out there, subscribe, and get out there today and make something. Till next time.